Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the Kashif Booth podcast. If you're new here, each week I sit down with a guest and we discuss their career so far, the highs, the lows, and what's next for them. Today is another solo episode, and today I'm going to be talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly of independent filmmaking. I have done independent filmmaking consistently for 6 years, and it is tough. Self funding your own projects, or trying to raise money, or trying to get funding from funding schemes is hard. It's just hard. You end up basically just self funding all of your projects all the time, and it is very, very difficult. Independent filmmaking, low budget filmmaking, small budgets, however you want to call it, it's hard. It's very, very hard. And I've done it for 6 years, and I feel like I'm done. I feel like I'm actually done. I'm saying this consistently on Twitter. I've got about 3 projects left to do independently, and I'm done. It is not worth the stress. I mean, it is worth the stress sometimes because you get your product, the end product done, and it could be amazing. But then sometimes you finish your project, and well, majority of the time you finish it, and you're just like, I wish I could have done this better, or damn, that had to happen, or things just always come up. There's something what goes wrong, and you're just like, why, and it's so frustrating. And I'm telling you, it's tough. If you've never done something independently, then you won't understand what I'm talking about. If you've just worked in the industry, in the mainstream part of it, where you've worked at a brief, you've got a job and somebody's paying it, or you're working for a network or production company who've received that funding, and you've got the money to pull off what you need to pull off for the show, movie, then you can't relate. If you are like me, who've made small to low budget projects, yeah, you will understand what I'm talking about. I have done 4 web series, several short films. I have my own podcast which I self fund and produce. I I've done so much stuff, and it gets to the point where you're just tired. You're just tired. And the thing, I think the bad part of it, I'm gonna start off with the bad. The bad part about low budget independent filmmaking is the fact that you have to self fund it, and you have to work with low budget, so you're not able to make or do what you want to do. All the ideas that you have in your head, you literally have to slice that in half, or sometimes even 3 quarters, okay? Because you just don't have the money, and it's just out of reach. I think that is the bad part of it. But the good part of it is that you're able to really become you're able to become really like resourceful and use different skills which you didn't even realize that you knew you had. I think that is the best part of low budget filmmaking. It's that you're able to use your resources and like use your connections, and you're able to have that freedom to do what you want. You don't have anybody else telling you what to do. You have your own vision. You don't have a studio exec. You don't have nobody telling you, oh well, this needs to happen or that needs to happen, or you need to cut out this. No, it's your vision, and you've got full creative control. And that's what's great about it. And you're just your own boss, and you don't have to wait for somebody to give you money or greenlit your production. That's the great thing about the internet, how you can just create something and put it out there for the world to see. That's the amazing part of it. The bad part is that you have to just cut back on your ideas, and that is just, it's heartbreaking, and it's the worst part of it. But it's just how it goes. Now, the ugly part is when you're trying to spend all that money, and you you're not just cutting corners, but you have to make so much sacrifices. And it's also trying to find people who actually have the same passion for your project, and that is very, very hard to find, because people just don't give a damn, especially when you can't pay people. I mean, sometimes, or you're offering them a lower rate to what they're used to. Yeah, it's tough. It's really tough. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. People can be very mean and selfish, and I never really understand why, when you're hiring people, why they will treat you the same way as, or put you in the same pedestal as somebody, or a company, or like Disney or BBC or a well-established production company where they can pay you your rates. Like, I don't understand why they will treat you as knowing you are the sole trader, you are the independent person, you are paying this out of your pocket, like, this is low budget, and they will still treat you the same way as like you're some big employer. And that's what I don't understand. It's the greed, it's the way how nobody wants to compromise. And it's fine, you have your rates and you can do whatever you want, but why are you even taking on a job where it's low budget, especially when it's specified? And I'm not even going to try and rant here because I could go off. Okay, but it's so difficult because you want to do well with your project, and then you want to work with the best, and you're being honest and upfront and telling them what it is. But it's like, you may offer somebody £300 for the day, or it's like a 2-day shoot, you might offer them £300 for the day, and they're like, oh yeah, that's fine, but can you cover expenses? I'm like, yeah, sure, I can cover your travel expenses. Cool, that's what we've agreed on. But you choose to hide the fact that you don't live in London, because I live in London and all my shoots take place in London, but you don't live in London and you live in Birmingham. So you expect me to cover your expenses from Birmingham for 2 days. What? And I don't know what ticket you're going to buy. You're allegedly saying that you will, and this is based on a true story. You're saying to me that, oh, I can get the earlier ticket in the day because, that'll be cheaper. Yeah, that's all word of mouth. Like, I don't know if you actually could do that. You could purposely decide to buy the ticket later on, so that the ticket, and that's when the ticket is more expensive. Like, what? That's not fair. Like, why are you lying? Why are you just trying to milk more money from me, And then this person was asking for another additional field fee to do prep for, this was for a costume role. I should add more context. And it was just like, really? Like, you're just adding. So you're just adding more to the rate that which you already agreed on, for you to get the rate that you want. So my thing is, why accept the job in the first place if you have all these stipulations? You can have those stipulations, but leave people like me alone. I'm not trying to cheat you out of money. We have a budget. I told you from the jump, like, it is a low budget production. We do not have the money. And this was for my series Newlyweds, the pilot that we did. And it was just like, I already had been through so much craziness trying to get this money. And if you have listened to my episode, The Side Effects of Crowdfunding, you know what I'm talking about. And so just trying to pull it off was a struggle, and then you're just trying to pull and milk more money from me, or like, it's crazy. And I ended up going over budget by like £1,000 or £2,000 because of people like this, because it's just additional price here, additional price there, and it's just like, for goodness sake. And that's the ugliness of it. It's the fact that people want to cheat you out of money. People don't have that respect or care for the project the way you do, and it's like, gosh, does nobody even care? Where's the compassion? Where's the help? I literally have to do everything by myself. Like, I've literally had to, go and pick up kit or equipment what the DOP wants, and then have to hire that out, go and pick it up, and then bring all of this kit in terms of like the lighting, the camera equipment, the tripod, the food, the snacks, literally everything by yourself. It's just I'm a one-man team, and it's like you're doing this consistently all by yourself, and it's just like you've got to manage everything, and you don't have that support, and that's the real difficulty of it, and then it's just, begging or praying, like, please, can you do this for this price? Can you do it for that rate? And it's just so difficult, and it gets to the point where you just have enough. Like, you can't do it anymore. And the thing is, I will always recommend that people do independent filmmaking, because you should learn how to do it yourself, understand the different roles and positions, because you develop so much great skills, and it does set you up for when you start being able to produce on a higher level. And what I mean by higher level is when you're in those mainstream productions, it really does help you, because you're able to further develop your skills, and learn new stuff about yourself. And it is so beneficial, but I'd recommend that you only do it for about a couple of years. I've done it for way too long. The pandemic did delay things a lot as well, because I was feeling this before this year, but I just knew that I had to get certain projects done because I had been developing them for a long time. But yeah, I just feel like do it for a couple of years and then just refocus your career. Think about where you want to go. If your independent career doing what you've done, or the amazing short films that you've made, or web series hasn't got you in a space where you need to be, I'm not saying that you should continue to do it, but there should be a point where, okay, you've done enough, and then you just have to rebrand and find a different way how you can get into where you want to be, to get an agent, to get that representation, so that you can start directing for TV, so you can start developing shows or films with production companies or studios. I feel like when you do independent film and TV, it's supposed to get you in the room so that you can get to the point where you can go after your goals and dreams efficiently, and you've got focus and a team behind you. Because people I know who've done amazing films independently or got received funding from schemes and stuff, they've gone on to get that representation and to be able to direct pilots or develop their feature film and open up more doors and opportunities for other filmmakers to come through. And that is what is needed, and that's the purpose of independent filmmaking. It's not for you to continuously just, you know, putting out project after project, because you need to have some sort of direction, you know. I feel like I was a bit lost myself, and I was trying to make sure that I developed my brand and go forth to, you know, okay, I need to have this project out and that project out, and it was fine and it did what it needed to do. But then there always has to reach a point where, okay, this is enough, and where do I go from here? And that's why when I've done the full web series I've done, I exec produced one of them as well. I've got my short films now. I'm in a position where I can work with brands and films, and which are great, and that's the whole purpose of it. And I encourage anyone who is making films at the moment, and you're putting in that work and you feel like, where's this going for me? Work on trying to find a solid film what you can develop, or web series, whatever it is, and really put all into it, and just make sure that it's the best. Get the right team, even if you have to take 2-3 years to generate the right budget. Do that so that it can put you into position where you can take your career to the next level, because there's no point consistently churning out content if it's not going anywhere. And the thing is, independent film is great, and you can go back to it once you're in a position where you don't need to self-fund it, or you don't need to go through all the blood, sweat and tears to actually achieve what you want to achieve. You can go back to it, but to get you in the room, make sure that it's the best that it can be, and then that's what can take your career to the next level. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thanks for listening. As usual, you can follow me all on my usual socials at Kashif Booth, the Kashif Booth podcast, or Kashif Booth Entertainment. Stay tuned for new episodes coming soon.